like when I became a nutrition coach, I essentially have a piece of paper that says I know something about nutrition. It's low level. It took me several months to pass it off, and it's a pretty prestigious certification that I got. There's exactly one sentence in the entire 700-page textbook that mentions what happens when your body burns fat and how you produce ketones. Like literally one sentence in the entire book for an incredible metabolic state. Like arguably we should be in most of the time. It hardly mentions it. Becoming a registered dietitian is a much different thing. You go to school, it's a 6-year program, typically speaking, and there's pros and cons to each. Like you have way more education than I do, but at the same time, you might be held to a different standard that I'm held to. If I tell somebody like, hey, maybe you should try, reducing whole grains, maybe you should try fattier cuts of meat. Like I can tell people that and not really have any consequences, where becoming a registered dietitian, depending on where you end up, you might be held to a certain standard. Can you talk about what it was like to become interested in nutrition, become a registered dietitian, and, describe like your experience, what it was like?
Yeah, sure. So I am just going to tell my age. I've been doing this for 19 years. And believe it or not, my original life path, my goal, ever since I was a little girl, was going to be an equine, so horse orthopedic surgeon. That's what I wanted to do. I used my poor horse. She would let me practice like in putting a needle into her jugular. Like she would let me do all these things that were terrible, but I was practicing because I was going to be a great vet. I worked at a vet, for a vet through college. My first degree was animal science. And when I finished my degree, that's when I rodeoed. I was part of, the University of Georgia Block and Bridle Club. I was going to be this, I really had these big aspirations. But when I finished, I sort of sat back for a moment and I was like, I can't do this. I mean, I even brought my horses to school with me. I was like, I can't do this.
Wow.
I can never have a career as this. I love animals way too much. Like I want to save them all. And I do not care if anybody pays me a dime. Whatever needs to be done, we're doing. So I was like, you can't have a business like this. So what is your second love? And it was nutrition. I mean, I truly love nutrition. I worked out, I took care of myself, always into that. Probably from being, raised on a farm, and we raised our own food. We never got to eat out, and we didn't live close to things. I mean, it was a treat to get to have fast food when that was like once a month. But I got a degree in dietetics and then did my internship and became a dietitian. And initially I really was fascinated in diabetes and in dialysis, and just for the fact that it was something just intrigued me about it. Like these are some really serious conditions and we don't really know how to manage it, and thus bringing back the need to feel competitive. Like I was drawn to figure out how to figure this out for people. But I was quickly disappointed in the fact that no one was getting better. Like we were taught diabetics need 45 grams per meal of carbs. They can have a 15-gram carb snack. So one serving of carbohydrates is 15 grams. So we could give them, anywhere from 3 to 4 servings per meal. We were taught eat every 2 to 3 hours to manage that blood sugar. You make sure you have a great snack before you go to bed so you don't go low. Fat is bad. I struggled with high cholesterol my whole life and feared fat. I mean, I never bought a stick of butter probably for the majority of my life until, a couple years ago. I would rinse my ground beef. I mean, it's insanity what we used to do. I mean, oh my gosh, whole milk, right? Cream, and I taught it to my patients and I lived it. I lived every bit of that. But, most of my career in dialysis, watching these people come in, what are the two main causes of dialysis? Diabetes and hypertension. They're on an average count of 19 meds. And they were following the paradigm that I was teaching them. Yet we label them as a medical community as non-compliant. All of these people aren't non-compliant, but no one ever took responsibility. I don't know where that came from, but obviously Zoom liked it.
If you're
Uh,
listening and not watching, all of a sudden there's all these like fireworks on Zoom.
yeah,
I hardly know why it does that, but
I
that was
don't
that
know
was
where
pretty
that
cool.
happened, but
That was cool.
Zoom agreed. No, we never took ownership, and like maybe it's the information I'm teaching them. These patients are following the direction that I'm giving them. They're taking their meds, they're eating these carbs, they're staying away from fat, they're getting sicker and sicker and sicker. And it really did not set well with me. In 2018, so I did, like you mentioned, I did about 3.5 years in organ transplant. And now I look back, all the fatty livers that we transplanted, not one time did we ever discuss carbohydrates. Not once, Casey, not once. It was, what are you eating? Stay away from hot dogs and red meat and the fat and the bacon. It was all fearing fat. That's really what it was fear of behind. Eat more fruits and vegetables, right? Lean proteins, though, all those kinds of things. But in 2018, I thought I had been with someone that I thought was going to be my husband, and we wanted to have babies, and I was old. For baby making age. I was 38, but we had tried for a year. Naturally, nothing happened. So my OB sent me to a reproductive endocrinologist. She's like, Shannon, like, you're beyond my help. They did every test known to man, everything. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with me. Super healthy. So I did a year of IVF. I mean, when I tell you, I should pull up pictures of my stomach. I took pictures of my stomach because I was like, if I ever have to show somebody this, they're not going to believe it. It literally looked like I had been beat, like just black and blue, puffy from all the steroids. I mean, when I tell you, like probably 1,000+ injections, and not one conversation was ever held during that whole year journey about what are you eating or what are you drinking or what does your environment look like or any of that. And so I thought this is not right. Maybe it's because I'm a dietitian, they just think I know. But I mean truly, like it doesn't matter. It still means that there should be, I'm not a fertility dietitian. I may know my stuff, but I'm not an expert in that. So I picked up a book called Real Food for Pregnancy by Lily Nichols, and it changed my life. I was blown away. I was like, why do I not know this? As a dietitian and an expert, why don't I know this? And why has no one ever told me this? Why am I not teaching my patients this? And it sent me down the rabbit hole of where we're at today: low carb, keto, intermittent fasting, carnivore. I literally, number one, was really upset. I cried a lot. I was very mad. All of these different emotions about maybe things could have been different had I known this. But I had many conversations with God. I'm a big woman of faith about why can I not have a child? I'm a good person. This is a good man. We're going to provide a good home, a good family. We're going to raise this child properly. We have things to give this child, and yet it couldn't happen. And you have families and people that maybe some would argue shouldn't have children and have lots of kids and they don't have good lives. Anyway, it turned into this whole battle with God until finally one day I said, you know what? I'm done. It is yours. You do as you choose. If I'm meant to have a child, I will. If I'm not, I'm not. But I think what the blessing, I did not have a child, by the way, and that's perfectly fine. I'm very happy with the outcomes of that. But it led me to where I'm at today. I wouldn't have been here had I gotten pregnant and I would not know what I know now. And because of that, because it ripped the wool off of my eyes, because it pained me so much, I made it my life's mission to teach the world about metabolic health. Like, there's so much we don't know. And even as an expert, I had no idea. And as I started learning from people like you mentioned, Dr. Ben Bickman, who is a friend of mine and now such an amazing mentor, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Eric Westman, you know, Jason Fung, Robert Lustig. I mean, we can go on and on and on and name all of these amazing individuals that it's like my obsession now is books. I have so many books, Casey, that I can't read. Like I've got to go through my books before I buy more. But I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. I just became obsessed with knowledge and like a sponge, and you just dig deeper and deeper and deeper. And to me, like it doesn't make sense that everyone doesn't see what we see. It makes so much sense that how do people not understand? Because if you have a glucose problem, remove glucose. Like I just don't understand. So that's where I'm at today. I was able to leave my full-time job as a pharmaceutical sales rep, selling phosphate binders to people on dialysis. I wasn't helping get anybody any better. And now I just truly, it's mostly virtual. I just speak on what you do. I just try to teach. And as I try to teach, I wish it was something I came up with, but it's not. It's just a principle from somebody else, but maybe I say it differently, or maybe they hear it differently. Maybe I dumb it down. Who knows? But it resonates with a lot of people, and they adopt the principles, and ding, ding, ding. Imagine that, Casey. Their health starts to improve. And so I will take credit as being maybe a translator for somebody else. But truly it's just doing what you do, doing what Michelle does, doing what we all do. We really just take these amazing principles and we try to put them into the hands of people that need it, and maybe they'll hear it from one of us. Because if one person hears it, it can change the world. It changed their world, right? And so that's what it's about. And then I got partnered with a company that has an amazing nutraceutical that I leverage as part of my practice as a tool to help people do the things that you and I recommend, and that many people struggle to do. They know they need to do it. Nobody wants to be 400 pounds. Nobody wants to be on 19 meds. And people know every day when they drive through McDonald's drive-through, they know that that's not making them healthier, that it's probably contributing to their illness, but they do it every day. Why? Because we're addicted. And so I offer tools like we do. We have a lot of tools in our toolbox to help people get to where they want to be.